a solution here, and tubing was, you know, was the perfect for the paint roller, cut it to length, and it's not perfect. Just as a test, from the last had to order a new rubber, which my wrist a bit. So you can actually see some instruments are already on, and I have the bottom cover off so they can access all the potentiometers and the adjustment of this machine. And I did some things before off camera because I actually found some tapes that I actually had, and I tried to put them on this machine. And while actually I was waiting for the new paint roller and the new replacement parts, I tried to put them on, but I right away I noticed that they were really, really bad. They were starting to have that shearing kind of syndrome, which is very famous for Ampex tapes. And I'm actually using Ampex 456 Grandmaster tapes. So I did something that I never tried, and that actually came out working perfectly nice. I just happened to have 4 tapes in this condition, and I tried to bake them in an oven at approximately 50 degrees for about I don't remember, like 5 to 6 hours, and that actually cured the syndrome. They are quite nice now. I wouldn't really trust them for a professional recording, but at least I am now able to save all the actual tracks and everything there is into them. Alright, so now that the machine is on and is warming up, is actually warmed up properly, the first thing that I'm actually gonna check is the input calibration here, and hopefully you can see that. There we go, the input level calibration. And the input level calibration is actually quite important, because if you this machine has no input level settings on the front at all. It's not like the TIAC A3440. It's different. Has no control on the levels you put in. So you must have a mixer in order to properly run this thing. So I do have a mixer, but I want to actually have the level set correctly in the machine before that. So if I put a 0 dB level signal, I'm gonna actually know that this machine will actually record a 0 dB level signal. And it's actually quite easy. If you see here, there are some, there's an adjustment trimmer, and it says that we have to apply a 400 Hz minus 10 dB tested signal into the input jack. And on the output, we should see a 10 dB signal. And this is a nice little graph on all the instruments: oscilloscope, amp, AC voltmeter. I'm just gonna use a oscillator, an attenuator, which is already on the oscillator, and this is the actual multimeter that I'm gonna use. My very nice Keithley 196 multimeter. Alright, so I set the oscillator to a nice 400 Hz. It is very stable, and that is showing our minus 10 dB level required. So let's actually connect to the input 1, and let's see what we get on the output. Alright, so this is the path. I'm actually sending a 400 Hz minus 10 dB, which is perfectly minus 10 dB signal into the input of the machine, and the output of the machine is actually connected directly into the Keithley multimeter, which is showing our reading here, which is minus 9.75 dB. So it is actually a little bit out. So we need to adjust that, and in order to adjust that, we have to adjust the R156. And R156 on the first channel, and there is this very handy little panel on the bottom here, and R156 is right there. So on this guy is right here. This is R156. So I have my screwdriver right there, and let's adjust that. Oh, it's very touchy, man. So it should be, man, it's close enough, I think, because it's very touchy. Let's actually, oh, there we go, minus 10. So that is actually adjusted, and let's see now the meter. So the meter is designed to indicate 0 VU when the reproduced amplifier produces a minus 10 dB output into 50 kilo ohm load. So it's not showing 0, so let's adjust that. We have to adjust the R141. Let's see, we can adjust that. There we go. Now we have some parallax problem here, but that is, it's an analog meter, so it's not perfect. So the channel 1 is actually calibrated. Let's go to all those channels with the same procedure. Alright, so this is an example of a record and playback amplifier board. This is the 8th channel, but all the boards are obviously identical. So as you can see, there are many unpopulated parts here, and I don't know if there is a kind of a revision or something, or optional kind of things. But anyways, there are a bunch of unpopulated components on this board. This component here is a transformer, so that's interesting, having a audio transformer in the audio path on those machines. This will actually add a little bit of coloring on the sound. They're using classic JRC 4559DD operational amplifiers, which I think they were actually used also on the TIAC A3440. I cannot really remember well. You can actually see around the components there's a bunch of residue here all over the place. But I think that is not just the flags they're using, they're used to solder the components, but I mean on the bottom you can actually see. It seems like it's there is some kind of coating on the bottom. And by the way, there is another tiny little issue here. Is that the meters all work except the fifth and the fourth channel meters can actually inject a signal on the sixth channel, and you can actually see the meter. Then on the fifth channel, the signal is present on the output on the oscilloscope. It's perfect. It's minus 10 dB. It's calibrated, but there is nothing on the actual meter. So there is also another connection problem because it is intermittent as well, and we're gonna actually sort it out as well. You know, I'm just gonna take out all the connections and then reinsert all the connections again with a little bit of contact cleaner and contact lubricant in order to get the connection back. Alright, so I found something very interesting here. You can actually see there is this is not dirt. There's some kind of coating on this board to protect it, I guess. But over the years, has become conductive. Now, as you can see, I have my meter here set on resistance. It's not, I mean, not gonna touch any trace or whatsoever. Just two random points across the board, and look at that. That is 1 mega ohm. Yeah, perfect.